You're listening to Cancer Convos with Brady and Stacy.
Hey there. Welcome to another edition of Cancer Convos with Brady and Stacy, sponsored by Chelsea Smith Cosmetics, the Bismarck Cancer Center, Give 5 to Cancer Foundation, and the Jolliffe Institute of Restorative Medicine and Aesthetics. I'm Bob Brady.
I'm Stacy Sturr.
And a special guest today, Amanda Crane.
Yes, Amanda Crane from the Bismarck Cancer Center. She is an oncology dietitian, and Bob needs your help, as you probably heard before we were on the air.
Well, so for those cancer diagnosis,
no, I know. Well, I have thyroid cancer. I've had it since 2014, and it moved from my thyroid down to my lungs. So I have 2 tumors in my lungs. So anyway, I was joking because if you see this on video, I've eaten a 3-pound thing of Starburst in the last couple of weeks. Not this week. And I didn't share them at all. This is my office. This is my spot. I'm also chewing on some fruit slices. And
fruit, yes. Do they contain any fruit in them?
It's like what, 0.5% of like actual juice or something?
I don't know what it says. But anyway, so those are not the things to eat as a dietitian.
No.
Yes, and, I know that.
We reached out to the Bismarck Cancer Center because we've had several conversations about this. When you get diagnosed with cancer, they tell you should try to eat better or eat right to improve your treatments. But we don't know what that is. Like, that's very subjective. So
it's actually not going to be rocket science is what I tell most of my patients when they come in here. Is you've actually been told your entire life how to eat. And a lot of the questions that come to me are like, okay, what should I not be eating? What are those foods that are not supposed to have? Like, let's actually not focus on what we shouldn't eat and let's go to the foods that we should eat. And it's what your mom and grandparents told you, that you need to eat your vegetables. So,
right.
I have this, I'll just use this photo because that is about what you want your plate to look like.
Oh, okay.
2/3 of your plate to be vegetables, and then 1/3 of your plate be 2/3 vegetables, and that other place split between the meats and the grains. So
okay.
So then we go from there, depending on what people want to talk about. If you don't eat a lot of vegetables and it's mostly looking like fruit slices and strawberries. Then I say, come on over. I'll eat them with you. No.
Yes, exactly. Come on over, Amanda.
So, but a lot of people have read like sugar causes or feeds cancer, and so they try to avoid sugar. Do you say avoid sugar as well?
Well, I mean, it's not the healthiest thing for us, but I don't approach that conversation from the standpoint of avoiding it. Yeah. Actually, all of our food is broken down into sugar, and all of our cells eat sugar. The reason why we like how that probably got touted is that when we do those scans and it's like we give them a glucose. So that it lights up with whatever cells are eating it the fastest. And so it's just because those cells are multiplying the fastest. That's why it appears as if they're eating all of our sugar. They're not. All of your cells need sugar to eat. So if we don't eat any sugar, sugar is not the problem, but like all of our food is broken down into sugar. So if we're not eating it, if we're just eating protein, then we're going to be breaking down our own body cells to feed our body, which is not good either. So we definitely need a good balanced diet, providing the most or the amount of calories that we need.
Okay. I'm glad you talked about that because I had always heard like a high protein diet is really good, but maybe not when you're going through cancer treatments.
Yeah. And, that's all subjective to what high means versus what low means. And because of the way our society is right now, we all think like these large numbers of protein are what we need. Like you're probably, well, not you particularly, but individuals in general think that they need these large amounts of protein. So they're thinking they need to supplement it with a protein like drink or something or protein bars because they can't get enough in their diet. That's not actually true. We have so much protein available to us in all these different areas. As long as you're including a protein in every meal, then, that's what I talk with my clients about, the things that they're going through. They need protein source in every one of their meals. And I don't actually recommend using like the protein bars for the general public because it's better to get it from food sources. Yeah. It sounds like a food source, but they really isolated those proteins out of the foods they come from.
I'm sure it's a tough conversation for people because one, they're going through cancer and they're like, okay, now I have to watch my diet. Like really, like I've come this far,
Right.
this, let me just live my life. But it helps. And I know that. Like I think since I started working again, I've lost maybe 15 pounds. But I still have a sweet tooth and I still drink, diet pop, whatever. It's all in moderation at the end of the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what the recommendations that I give people, I actually take them from this, the American Institute of Cancer Research. They review all cancer. And so they have this pamphlet, but they also have it on their website. You can go to it's ircr.org. And on that website, they talk through their 10 ways to protect yourself against cancer. And then it's really 8 recommendations. And then the 9th one is to breastfeed if you're a female. So that doesn't pertain to everybody. And then number 10 is if you have a cancer diagnosis, follow the previous 9, but not the 9th one because it's only for women, recommendations. And that comes from research of 3 decades. So instead of like saying, oh my gosh, this came out in research, a lot of the research that's like constantly coming in is not really for us as the individual to take our recommendations from. We need to boil that down into evidence-based for what the human should actually do. And that's what they do. And so with those recommendations, again, they're not rocket science. The first one is be a healthy weight. And with the healthy weight, what that means, it's individualized. But I just was telling a patient today that, let's take a 300-pound person and what would be a healthy weight for them and a healthy goal for them at this point. 5 to 10% weight loss brings them down 15 to 30 pounds and will make huge dividends. Are they a thin person? Would everybody else look at them and think, oh, wow, they're so healthy? Probably not. But for their body, that's good. So you have to take that as an individual basis. And some people have complaints about the BMI scale. And I don't really go off of it as a BMI for like determining if someone's healthy or not. I take them as individual, but we do use that in research to help us see the population as a whole. And so when making those goals, and you were saying, all these different things that can be overwhelming, we take it a step at a time. If you make just one of these changes, if you haven't been active and you just start being active, or if you drink sugar soda every day of the week and you just can't let go of it, let's back it off to, every other day so that everything is trying to come in line and taking it step by step. Baby steps really do make greater dividends than trying it all at once and throwing it all out.
I know when I was diagnosed, my oncologist went over the binder of stuff. And one of the things they said is, the thing is, if all you can, when you're going through your treatment, if the only thing you can keep down or handle is a milkshake, drink the milkshake. Like, we're not going to tell you to avoid the milkshake. If that's the only thing that you can keep down or the only thing that feels good to eat, drink the milkshake that day. Like, that's, you have to do what you have to do. Don't drink milkshakes all day, every day.
Yeah. And actually,
why not?
Patients, they get to the point for that when they're going through treatment. That's one of the roughest times, but probably the best time for me to be counseling them. It seems easy, and it is from a standpoint of the general public. Like, I'm telling them, eat ice cream, add cream to your food, put butter on that. Like, we're doing with particular diagnoses have a harder time with eating and getting those calories in. So they're hearing things that like everybody else would be like, why are you telling them to eat
right?
Just eat it. And we can throw protein into that milkshake and make it provide the nutrients that they need right now for healing. Now, is that the diet I want them to forever be on? No. And so, after treatment, then it's a different direction that we take it. But on treatment, a lot of my patients are being directed to take milkshakes.
Yeah, because it's hard. So I was lucky. I didn't have mouth sores, but I know a lot of people had really bad mouth sores, and so I'm actually just recently started getting mouth sores 2 years after my chemo stopped. But I do take like a daily chemo pill. So I just started getting mouth sores, and so it's hard to eat harder foods. Like it hurts. And so I could see that you have those challenges. on top of you're nauseous or you have mouth sores or you can't, things taste weird. Everything tastes metallic to me. So it's on top of everything else. You have that challenge of just trying to get people to eat.
What's your Amanda, what's your approach on somebody coming in? You know, no one likes to be told what they can't do. Like, you can't do this.
Do you meet with
every
do you meet with every patient after they're diagnosed, Amanda, and like just go over things like that?
So some are just by their own request. It's always offered to them at the Bismarck Cancer Center. So when they meet with the nurses, they're starting out after they've agreed to doing treatments, then they'll be offered that. Some even decline when I need to see them, though.
Yeah.
So there's certain diagnoses that I know that they're going to have certain symptoms. And so it's just in our regulations that I meet with them. So the ones that I don't have to see, they always have the option. And so just because of caseload, I don't put them on my schedule unless they request it at a certain point. So did I answer the question?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then the process, like if I'm diagnosed and I would like to meet with you, then where do we go from there?
Yeah, so once you're diagnosed, our patients come every day for treatment. That's the way radiation works, is it? Yeah. We build on the radiation. Occasionally we'll have patients that come for like an every other day, but we even have some patients that have come for 2 treatments a day. So they essentially live here. They come in the morning, they come in the evening. So I generally schedule them around when they're already going to be here, as we do other services. We have a social worker, and then they have survivorship nurses that meet with them. And so I just tag myself onto their current schedule that they have for radiation. And then after they have their treatment, which can be, as short as 15 minutes, the actual treatment time doesn't take very long. We talk about it being this magic room. And just today, one of my patients said, I don't think it's turning on. Doing anything. It's not great. And others can, they don't necessarily feel it in treatment, but it's having effects on them on the outside. Anyway, so after they do treatment, then they'll be sent to whoever they need to see, and that would be when they come to me. And so they come into this nice office that you see. I have a sink back there because occasionally I am actually demonstrating different things. If they have a tube feeding, we actually will do it right here in my office, and so they can get comfortable doing that and feel like they can take it home and be successful. It's kind of intimidating to have something going into your body. So sometimes if I just do it for them, they're like, oh, okay, it wasn't that bad.
What's your oh wow moment there? Like what's your why? Like, why do you keep doing that?
Oh, why do I keep doing my job?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Every patient feeds me, I mean, I know I'm here for them, but there's so many personal stories of, either what they're going through with cancer or, they share their life stories. I'm very interested in the human. So this is a great job to be able to meet with them and also hopefully being helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, if people want more information on Bismarck Cancer Center or meeting with you possibly after their diagnosis, how can they get a hold of you, Amanda?
Yeah, so going to the Bismarck Cancer Center website probably has our contacts on there. But as far as patients that get to see me, they're as a patient of the Bismarck Cancer Center, they forever have access to their support services, and that's what I'm considered as a support service. It's not a charged thing. Our foundation actually that does a lot of money raising is what pays for the patients that are able to come here. Sorry, pays for my services for those patients.
Right.
So yeah.
All right. And if you could leave us with 3 or 4 foods that are really good foods to eat to fight cancer, what are the cancer fighting foods that everybody always wants to know about, Amanda?
Oh, cancer fighting foods. Yeah, I should have thought about this ahead of time because I'm a list of more than 3 or 4 is what you want. You don't want to just, focus in on one food, but one that I say a lot, and depending on if you were to have other issues that would not allow this to be a good food for you, but spinach is a very good power food. I really wouldn't leave it to 3 or 4, but I'll just throw some out there for you.
Yeah, throw some out there at us.
And some blueberries. They're gonna all be and I'll throw a protein in there. Really anything protein. So I'm not opposed to dairy, but if a dairy doesn't work for you, then soy in its pure form. So going with the bean versus isolates that then don't work as the whole food, I would probably recommend that. But again, I don't actually want that to be left as my message. It would be variety.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mix it up. Yeah, because you don't want to get stuck in that rut, right? Yeah.
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 Here's 4 foods every meal.
Yeah.
And get a good variety in.
It's like all I eat is pizza and tacos. That's not right. You should eat more. Like, you know what I mean? You got to mix it up. Yeah, it's variety,
you can make your pizza more of a variety by the different things you put on it.
Yes.
So I generally think pepperoni and cheese, but there's some really good toppings that you can put on a pizza and still be saying you're eating pizza every day.
Well, thanks so much for joining us today, Amanda.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right.
Perfect.
That's
easy.
it.
Easy peasy.
All right.
All right, Amanda. Hey, thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.
All right. Cancer Convos, sponsored by Chelsea Smith Cosmetics, Bismarck Cancer Center. Hey, they're a sponsor. Why do we have them on?
Hey, look at that.
Yeah. Give 5 to Cancer Foundation and the Jolliffe Institute of Restorative Medicine and Aesthetics. We thank them all for sponsoring the show, and thank you for listening. Be back again next time with the Cancer Convos with Brady and Stacy.